some more liquid to release here. And there we have it. Hello folks, this is a squidgy cow's heel alert. This cow is quite tender on this foot, so let's see what we can find inside. The only thing is, this is the last cow before I take my lunch break, so hopefully what we find in this foot doesn't put me off my food. Make sure your sound is on. Good morning folks, and welcome to Tech TV.
I don't know what you would call us, but I think we'll go down under the name of hoof trimmers.
I don't know if you can see there, but my finger is pushing into this here, and there's a bit of pressure built up in here. So that's where I assume the discomfort's coming from for this particular cow. This hoof is pretty overgrown, a lot of loose pieces of hoof in around here, so this is quite big, so I'm going to start off with the grinder. I'm sure you'll agree from watching the odd hoof trimming video that the grinder is a great way of getting rid of hoof horn fast. It's hard to believe, back in the olden days when Tom was trimming, back when TV screens were black and white, there was no such thing as a grinder. And yes, Tom is that old. Now we have brought this cow's foot to a 50-50 weight bearing balance across these two claws. Now if this cow wasn't lame, this would be fine, but because she's lame and there's a little bit of a squidgy cushion up here that probably needs to be released, we're going to have to put a block on this to rest this side. The secret of keeping a nice block on a cow's, now the secret of keeping a block on a cow's foot is having a nice clean surface. These little lines I occasionally put on the hoof just for a little bit of extra grip for the glue, so it's not gluing onto a completely flat surface. Next we dry it off with the blowtorch, just a little flicker of it. The cow can't feel that, don't worry. Now this glue does take 90 seconds to set, so now that we've got that drying, or the bond curing, it's time to investigate this squidgy cushion. So a nice sharp knife really does help this here. I'm just shaving off tiny little bits. Something has happened to hoof here and here, because these here are little wear marks or little stress cracks. So we'll focus on those especially. Given the extreme pressure in this squidgy cushion in the cow's heel, it's at any point now I'm expecting to get the contents on my face. So brace yourself, it's on the way. There we have the start of this little bubble here. This here's all full, and this is where it's going to get out here just at the white line. So this is still pretty squidgy, so we still have some more liquid to release here. And there we have it. Bubbling out under some pressure. And just think, when you can hear that sound, how much pressure was actually in there. This whole cushion area here is now very empty, no pressure, so everything that was the pus that was in there is now out. So that will be instant relief. Now we just need to gently undercover this cavity as best we can. Essentially this heel bulb area is starting to detach from the corium, so we'll have to gently remove as much of that as we can. This girl behind me agrees. last little bit of that dark coloured pus. It is absolutely vital to this animal that we get all these sharp, loose edges of hoof horn removed from this lesion. Otherwise, it will not heal. As you can also see from my gloves, the hoof trimming environment is not a clean one, but we do all in our power to keep the area around the lesion washed, dabbed dry, before we put a nice clean bandage on. So that's all the loose horn from around that there taken away, the hard little bits. Sometimes when you're watching this here, some of you comment below and say that I maybe have missed a little bit of hard hoof or whatever, but I feel around it, sometimes maybe from the camera angle, but there's no point in letting the foot down unless you have those sharp pieces of loose horn gone. So I'm going to show you a little shot of this before we bandage it up with a salicylic acid paste wrap. I'm just going to put an extra little bit of bandage on that just to keep the muck and slurry out of it for an extra day or two, and let the salicylic acid do what it does, heal things up. Let's get this girl out of the crush and see how she's doing. Although I think she is enjoying this head rub. She just said she was. And this is the most satisfying part of the trim, seeing how comfortable we've made her. This blue mark on this cow is animal marker spray that the farmer sprayed on this animal in the parlour to make sure he didn't miss pulling her out to get trimmed. And after helping that girl to bear weight 100% on that foot, it's time for Gareth to have his lunch. And even with that trim, I think I'll still be able to manage to eat it. So with that girl weight bearing 100% beautifully on that foot, it's time for Gareth to have a nice, satisfying lunch. And despite that trim, I think I'll still be able to eat it. You'd know to look at me, it takes a lot to come between me and my food. Folks, if we haven't put you off your lunch by watching this video, we'd love it if you could hit the subscribe button for lots more videos. Take care and see you all later.